My pranams to all of you. I am so honored today by the grace with which the ISBR has conveyed the respect to the teaching faculty. Though there is award is this given to me, but I think it is the award for the teachers in general. It should go to them. The times have changed. As Sunil was showing the Google things, 6 months ago I was in UK, seeing the BET show, where the Google had showed what they are doing in the classrooms. I was totally lost. I saw the classroom that in future would have, as all the while wondering, technology is good, technology is galloping amok. We can reach out to the stars, we can reach other galaxies, we can reach through the satellite, anything else, other part of the world so easily. But can we reach out to the other heart in the classroom? My concern is that. We are so close to each other in physical proximity, but emotionally we are going far away from one another. Teacher's job is to bring those hearts together. And our sincere effort is to bring that together. I'll mention a small incident and stop. I'm not giving a lecture. This article of mine was published about 30 years ago, and is translated to at least about 15, 16 languages, as I know. It happened to me, pardon me for being a little biographical. I was a student in Dharwad, in a very famous school called K. Boards High School. My father was a government servant. Being a very honest government servant, he was transferred more frequently. Then he wondered, if I get transferred so frequently, where would my children study? So me and my sister had to stay in Dharwad and pursue our studies. My father, with a suitcase, was traveling all over. I completed my 10th standard. I was waiting for my sister to finish her MSc exam. She was the most brilliant person I have seen in my life, who created a record by getting first rank throughout her career. I suffered so much, because always you are compared with your illustrious brothers and sisters. But then I was not bad at that. I finished my 10th and my sister finished her MSc. Then we went to the place where our parents were staying. They were in Kolar. My father got transferred and transferred and transferred. He was down south in Kolar. We were in Dharwad up north. Whenever children come home from the hostel stay, they look very nice. Not when they are together. When we went back, parents were so happy, and my father planned a 6 days tour to Tirupati, Kalahasti, and all those places. We came back late at night and slept. Next day morning, my father was reading the newspapers of all the days when he was not in town. This is the disease with some men. Whenever they are not in town, they read the papers of the previous days when they are not in town and wonder how the world progressed without they are not reading the newspaper. He was reading the newspaper, suddenly he shouted to my sister, "What is this fellow's number?" Results had come. SL's results had come 5 days ago, and those were the days when the numbers of successful candidates would come in the newspaper. Should look like a lottery number. My sister knew the number better. I was sleeping still. She said, "Anna, don't worry." She was so sure that her brother would get the rank to the state. She looked into the rank list on the first page. It was not there. She felt bad. She thought first class is sure. She looked into first class. It was not there. The increased palpitation, looked into second class. It was not there. With the last hope that this fellow should pass examination, looked into third class. It was not there. I had failed in the sales examination. And my sister and mother cried, and my father was angry. What will this idiot do? Usual reactions, father and mother reaction. When I got up, after half an hour, my father realized that I was the only son. Then he told my mother, "Don't shout at him. He should not do something for his life." He said, "Where will I shout?" "You don't shout." There was an agreement between them. When I got up in the morning, parents were so kind to me. Parents are normally kind. If they are too kind, is something fishy. Then when I got up, I could see my sister's eyes were red, my mother's eyes were red. Something is happening. They were not telling me. I went and asked my sister, "Akka, what happened?" She couldn't control. She hugged me and started crying. He said, "You fellow, you have failed in the SLS examination. Which subject have you failed?" I said, "Have the results come?" The results have come 5 days ago. I did the same process. First I looked into the rank, then first class, second class, third class. I was a little more intelligent than them. I took 2 rupees and got the English paper. Maybe Kannada paper, they make mistakes. But there was no difference in English paper either. I started crying. Then the only the people who could help us and guide us was the headmaster of the school at that time. And my father tried to contact through phone from Kolar to Dharwad. Those days telephones were like God's blessings. They would come, but not sure when. 3 days he tried, and he couldn't contact. Then he said, "We'll go to Dharwad. Both of us went to Dharwad to meet our headmaster. Please visualize my plight. I was a failed candidate going to meet the headmaster of the school, and my headmaster was a little short-tempered man. I don't know how to explain little. You have heard of the Rishi called Durvasa in mythology. He was about 100% more short-tempered than him. I was scared of meeting him, and I was going in the corridor. My father was ahead of me. I was only praying God that I become transparent and nobody would see me. And as we were going ahead, my father suddenly turned back and said, "Staff room," as if I did not know. Till then I was thinking of only my principal. Suddenly I bent down and looked into the staff room. My maths teacher was sitting there. And most unfortunately, he saw me. He said, "Karajage, come here." I went inside. Should go when preacher calls. I went there with my head bowed down and stood before him like a lamb to be butchered. He scolded me in chaste words and said, "Idiot, good for nothing creature. I taught you mathematics for 1 full year to get 13 marks. Shame on you." Then I learnt in which subject I had failed. Till then I didn't know. 13 marks. I was miserable. Then he shouted and said, "Get out of this place. Don't show your face to me. Appear for September examination." First of all, I was miserable. When teacher shouted, I felt crestfallen. I came out crying. Then he called my father inside. Those were the wonderful days when teachers used to shout at the parents also. He called my father and said, "What, gentlemen? Is it responsibility? Is responsibility? When the results come, should he not be in town? This fellow has failed in the exam. He can't fail." The consolidated marks card has come from the SSLC board, according to which the lowest marks he has got is 92 in social science. He cannot fail in mathematics. We expected rank from him. And the time given to you apply for retotaling after the results, only 5 days after the results. Where were you? Watch my words. "I went to your house on 3 consecutive days. The house is locked. Is it responsibility?" Then he said, "Don't worry, don't worry." I myself came back to school. I filled up the application for retotaling and sent it to SLC board after paying 5 rupees. Be kind to this fellow. Don't be harsh. He's a very sensitive boy. We came back home. Let me tell you, my friends, I can't forget the day. 21st of May, hot afternoon, I was sitting alone in the house. I could see the road in front of my house. In summer, the tar of the road melts. You can see the mirage on the road. I could see my teacher walking there, maths teacher. Typical kache dhoti, white shirt, black coat, and black cap and thick glasses. He was holding the edge of the dhoti in one hand, holding his chappals in the other hand, hopping on one leg, perspiring profusely. His feet must have had blisters on his feet because he was walking on a road which was burning like a stove. You know why? My dear teacher was a diabetic. He had hurt his toe, and the toe had swollen so much he could not wear the chappals and walk fast. Since he wanted to walk fast, I said, "Forget about the chappals." He was sweating and turned towards my house. I was wondering, where is he going? He turned towards my house, dropped his chappals outside the threshold, walked inside. I cannot forget what happened next 5 seconds. I want to treasure in the innermost compartment of my heart till the last breath of my life. I can't describe it. I become emotional. He just walked in. As a student, you find your teacher coming into your house. You don't know what to do. I just stood up. He just came to me, hugged me, and started sobbing like a child. Sobbing like a child. I didn't know why he was crying. I started getting tears in my eyes. After 2 minutes, he pushed me out, put his hand in the inside coat pocket, took out a piece of paper. It was a telegram from the SSLC board. He said, "See what these idiots had done to you." He gave the letter to me. It was a telegram from SSLC board which read, "Result is changed from failed to 8th rank. Send cumulative card for correction." Let me tell you, my friends, very, very honestly, I want to tell you, I was not happy at that moment that I got the 8th rank. I was immensely happy that my teacher came home, hugged and cried. Tears won't come so easily in the eyes, my friends, unless your heart's deepest feelings are involved. I still wonder why my teacher did it. I don't know what would have happened to my career if I had declared fail, if I had not applied for retotaling. Please remember, my teachers, he goes up in my esteem when I tell you his own son, Vasant, who was my classmate, had failed in 2 subjects, including mathematics. How many of us can do that? Let us put our hand on our chest and see, if my own son has failed, do I bother about some other child who has failed? I have a personal tragedy at home. I would not bother about it. Maybe in the general staff room I may say, "This Karajage cannot fail, no? We expected rank from him." That's more than enough. Nobody gives you an appointment order and says, "If a student fails, go and check in the house." Nobody does that. My teacher went to my house on 3 consecutive days and felt frustrated. What will happen to this boy's career? came back to the office, filled up the application form as the guardian, and sent 5 rupees to the SLC board. Please believe me, 5 rupees was a fortune for a teacher those days. And not only that, when the telegram came to the school, he could have sent a small slip to my house, come, your results have come. I would have gone running to the school because, after all, it was my career at stake. But my teacher was so overwhelmed with joy at the success of his student, he pushed the personal tragedy of his own son's failure to the backyard, came running on the hot, blistering road, hugged and cried. In those 5 minutes, hugging and crying, my teacher demonstrated to me what is teachership. What is teachership? My friends, last word. Values are not taught. Believe me, values are not taught. Values are not lectured about. Values are not professed. Values are only demonstrated. We'll have a half a minute exercise if you like it. Shall we do exercise? I'll close with that. Keep your right hand free. Don't have pen, pencil, mobile, anything in the right hand. Just do as I say. Can you hear me? Please do only as I say. Raise your right hand. Fold your fingers into a fist. Slowly bring your hand forward. Stretch your forefinger. Only forefinger. And very quickly keep this finger on your left cheek. Please see where you kept your finger. I had told you left cheek. And all of us know what is cheek and what is chin. I could see 3 reactions here. Most of you kept the finger here and did not bother about it. Some of you wondered, the fellow says cheek but keeps it here, and then said, if he is keeping, why should I bother? And third category people kept the finger here, slowly moved on to the left cheek. Doesn't matter, no problem. It says very clearly, in the world, people will not do what you say, but people will do what you do. Teacher's responsibility is doing it, not saying it. A good teacher is one who lives a model life, a role model for others, for the students to follow. I'm honored, sir, the grace with which you are given this award. I don't believe I am Guru Brahma. I'm a very simple teacher. I want to remain teacher till the last breath of my life. Thank you so much.